Hi, this is Peggy Miller, Highland Winds LLC, and this is the Medical Herbal podcast series. It basically discusses the benefits of Chinese and Ayurvedic medical herbalism, herbs, and plant medicine, and the health benefits of Chinese and Ayurvedic herbs. The reason I emphasize Chinese and Ayurvedic herbalism is a very precise form of using plants, what to use when and why, and it looks on the body in a very concentric way, so that it pulls in it's a whole overall view of blood and water, etc. And I discussed a lot of this in the overview segments, but I'm in the chronic and specific issue now. If you've had something for a while. And today I'm talking about cancer itself, and if you've been diagnosed with it, can herbs help if you opt for conventional cancer treatments, like chemo and other forms of drugs that are now, there's tremendous research being done. And so let's say you've been diagnosed, or someone you know and love has been diagnosed, and you've opted, you've figured out the treatment plan, but you've heard about herbs being plant medicine being able to help you as you go through this. Yes, and much of what I'll be saying uses a lot of the teachings I received at the East-West School of Planetary Herbology, the tiaras that led it, and in terms of cancer itself, Michael Tierra did an enormous amount of work and wrote a book about it that I highly recommend. It's a book about treating cancer with herbs, and highly recommend that if this applies to you or to someone you know. It's a great book. But I want to kind of just do a synopsis of it, because people wonder, are there avenues, and how might plants and herbs help them as they go through this journey of conventional treatment? And there's a number of ways. If you think just in terms of nourishing, your body is often, whether it's cancer or surgery or other long illness, your body is knocked down flat out sometimes. And it isn't always. And with cancer treatments, often they've narrowed the field, and so because of that, by narrowing the field, I mean they pinpoint the area so much more specifically that they basically are able to keep it from having the broad base impacts. But it's still there are areas that can be of help. Nourishment. If you nourish your blood and your energy levels, you will not only maintain your immunity levels so that you can ward off incoming viruses of other nature, but it will also just simply help you stay on your feet better and heal faster. With herbs, blood nourishment, whether you use schizandra, which is an excellent one, plus it helps you relax a little bit as you're going through this, and stress can be a definite problem. So schizandra is a great one, as is cornus and goji berries. And those alone are quite gentle, but they really help nourish the blood and the yin, and they help the body handle the impacts of treatment, whatever they may be, and the stress. A lot of times, and people mention this, that it's not really as much the treatment itself as the worry, the stress. If they're worried about, will they lose work? Will it be successful? And so stress alone is a good thing to try to tackle. And schizandra helps a lot with that from a standpoint of helping to relax. If you're worried about stress, you might seek out a herbalist, just a medical herbalist, a Chinese Ayurvedic medical herbalist, from the standpoint of just talking about the stress. Because a combination of schizandra and, let's say, oat straw, which helps the body relax some, is a nervine, and so it basically helps the nerves relax. And as you do this, and take the schizandra as well, and probably, in my opinion, hawthorne is another good herb to pair with these, because hawthorne would also not only help the heart stay a little bit more nourished, but it helps the intestines. And as you're going through this, the intestines are a good thing to keep in good working order. Whether it's cancer or just conventional surgery you're recuperating, a lot of times the body's trying to slough off whatever the accumulated, if you're on various drugs to help you handle things, as well as the chemo itself. The body's trying to slough stuff off, the byproducts, not the medicine itself, but as it goes through the body and does its work, then the liver has to clean it out of the blood and slough it off. And that can create both a stagnation issue as well as just a need to make sure the intestines are working well. Cardamom and licorice can help the intestines along with hawthorne. They are very good for helping maintain energy levels as well as just helping the intestines remain healthy. So those are very gentle things. Dandelion is another gentle herb, which is both an anti-inflammatory, and you will have some inflammation during this procedure. And the inflammation is not just from the treatment, but here again, the tension itself can create inflammation. And I've had prior segments where I've talked about the liver and talked about the different impacts on the liver and emotion. Worry alone impacts the liver greatly, impacts the heart, and impacts the spleen. And this is a situation where, you like it or not, you'll be a little bit worried. So making sure you just kind of pay attention to your liver, and schizandra will help with that. It helps both the heart and the liver. And with the spleen, you might want to increase the key herbs just a little. Codonopsis and astragalus are both very good for that. And so if you make a tea that both focuses a little bit on the liver, like using schizandra and using cornus and hawthorne, then in addition, and goji, but also include like astragalus or codonopsis, because it'll keep the energy levels a little bit higher and help the spleen do its job. If you find you're having a buildup of mucus, that's another indication the spleen might be reacting to your worrying. And so you might seek out, there's a simple formula called 4 major herbs. It's also called 4 gentlemen's. And that's good for the spleen. It helps the spleen just do its job and should keep buildup of mucus at bay. So that is an additional approach in terms of anti-inflammatories. Dandelion, I can't stress enough, because it not only cleanses the liver, so it helps, it's very gentle. Pregnant women can use dandelion tea. But it's also a great anti-inflammatory, as is marshmallow. And together, they can help the liver do its job of just getting rid of any byproducts that need to be cleaned out of the blood and stay in working order. So basically, tea that combines like schizandra and goji and a little bit of marshmallow and dandelion, it's a great overall tea that you could drink a quart every day or two and just kind of keep flushing things through. That will also help overall with your kidneys and with your intestines, because it will, deal with the anti-inflammation issues, as well as just keep flushing through and cleansing things. Another herb that often gets forgotten, but it's Prunella vulgaris, self-heal. And the reason that's a useful one is it has a history of helping to clear out lymph nodes. Sometimes the nodes in the glands, when you're having cancer treatment or treatment from surgery or whatever, they just get overloaded because there's so much the medications being put into your system suddenly. The lymph nodes and the glands in general might react and might swell up some. That's an indication to go ahead and use a few days of Prunella vulgaris, which is also called self-heal. I'd include it along with the schizandra and the dandelion because what it helps to do is help clear out, it just cleanses lymph nodes and glands. It's kind of a direction that it goes in, and it can help. So if that starts to become a problem, that's another one just to keep in mind. In addition, finally, you want to think about making sure there's no stagnation building up, no blood stagnation, and no key stagnation. With key stagnation, that just means that a lot of times if there's stagnation somewhere in your system, then the energy flows also get dammed up, they get stopped, and you need to make sure that the key and the blood keeps flowing. So with key stagnation, dandelion's a good one, lemon's another good one. It's a little bit of bupleurum possibly, and I'm talking just 2 to 3 grams in a quart of tea along with whatever marshmallow or dandelion you're taking, can help clear key stagnation. And blood stagnation, danshen or myrrh or cinnamon, cayenne. If you like spicy food and whatever treatment you're going through, you're feeling fine, downing some Mexican food with some cayenne on it, or Indian food with cayenne, it can really help keep blood stagnation from forming. And it actually can help your stomach and your intestines. Sometimes spicier food can be of help. So making sure that stagnation is clear, and I'm talking just about, once every couple of months in terms of stagnation, just making sure you add in a few stagnation clearing herbs. Make sure you sit down with a medical herbalist, whether they're Chinese or Ayurvedic, just to explain what you're going through and that you would like to consider some kind of herbal regimen that helps you stay nourished, helps your immunity levels stay higher, and overall just gives you that, kind of healing edge. So as you go through the process, you stay in a better healing mode. Obviously, eating really good, nourishing food is part of that, whether it's really good soups, making some good bone broth and chicken soups with a lot of good veggies in them can be of great help. If your stomach is feeling not so good, a combination of herbs, whether it's fennel or ginger can be very useful. Cardamom, again, is good for key maintenance, but also is great for the stomach. And in addition to those herbs, that you just basically go through and build an actual regimen that helps you tackle the different things as they come along. You don't always know. Your body may handle it absolutely fine, and all you need is a little bit of blood nourishment, a little bit of energy nourishment, and you hardly feel it. So as you go through the process, seek out an herbalist and see if there's a regimen of herbs that might help you just deal with the worry. Are there anti-stress herbs that can just help with that? And I wish you the best if this applies to either you or someone in your family or your group of friends. And have a great day. I hope this has been of use. This is Peggy Miller again, signing off, Highland Winds LLC. And a shout out to MCAT and KFGM. MCAT's been carrying these since the beginning on Sundays and Tuesdays. And I'm on YouTube as well, Highland Winds LLC. You have a good one.